and we're going to talk about hypocrisy in boxing. So over the weekend, Shakur Stevenson faced a skill southpaw opponent, and he beat him by unanimous decision. And I like that Shakur was walking the guy down, you know, and he was landing punches at select points on the guy's body. Great boxing performance, like another boxer that recently performed. I thought he could have gotten the guy out of there, but he was sort of following a formula almost. And basically, he was doing the same things over and over again. Okay. Did work the body, though. He was getting shots to the body. He looked very capable of getting the guy out of there. But some reason he didn't end up doing it. Dead skin, what is that? Yeah, dead skin. That's dead skin. I think so. Okay. That's interesting. That's that looks like it's dead skin. That is dead skin. That's crazy. Alright. So be it. That's dead skin, but for some reason it won't come off my face. Alright, talking more. Now, why I find this hypocritical is because everybody's raining down praise on Shakur Stevenson for beating his opponent. Again, ESPN, a top ranked fighter. But everybody was going to town on Devin Haney. Everybody was Devin Haney and all that, blah, 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 blah. Shakur didn't get the guy out of there. Teofimo didn't get Lomachenko out of there. So this is what I mean by hypocrisy in boxing. I'm going to give you another example. So over the weekend, Anthony Joshua stopped Kubrat Pulev. Kubrat Pulev's only being stopped by one other fighter, and that was Vladimir Klitschko. And when Vladimir Klitschko stopped Kubrat Pulev, it was by using tactics such as putting down his whole body weight on him, so Kubrat Pulev couldn't fight the way he wanted to fight. Anthony Joshua does that. He almost got him out of there in the third round. But what does Anthony Joshua do after that? He resets, and again, he goes back to his game plan, and he fights defensively. He takes his time, breaks him down, and then gets him out of there in the ninth round. Anthony Joshua is criticized for this, okay, by two broadcasters who don't know shit about boxing. Always the people who don't know about boxing, they're the ones that make the comments. A boxer said he took his time, he broke him down, and he got him out of there. They want to talk about Anthony Joshua didn't have the confidence and all kinds of rubbish. Okay? I just got the piece of skin off. Right? You know, he didn't have the confidence. Okay. I listened to them. And they're saying, you know, well, the Andy Ruiz incident must have come back to Anthony Joshua. That's why he didn't. And I said to myself, these guys don't understand what it is to box smart. For them, boxing smart is being cowardly or being afraid. It's not that you're cowardly or afraid. It's that you're being defensively responsible and you're not taking as much risk when you can get the guy out of there. You know you can get him out of there. Some guys, they try too hard to get the guy out of there, and what happens? They don't knock them out. Anthony Joshua took his time, knew that Kubrat Pulev could be dangerous. Kubrat Pulev would be throwing his punches. So he was defensively responsible. And as a result of that, he was able in the ninth round to get him out of there. This is what I mean by hypocrisy in boxing. A similar boxer like Triple G, you know, I remember Triple G didn't get the guy out of there. Or even Andy Ruiz, we didn't get Anthony Joshua there out of there in the third round. He got him out of there in the seventh round. He took his time and got Anthony Joshua. When you've hurt a fighter and you know you can hurt them, you know you can hurt them again. So what you do is you work on the fundamentals. You keep your defense because when a fighter is hurt, they're also very dangerous. Some fighters, at least. So I loved how Anthony Joshua executed, and it was a mixture of smarts. In fact, Dante's Boxing Nation said this is the best he's ever seen Anthony Joshua fight or box. This is very true. You have to be smart so you can live another day. And it was very smart boxing, you know? Um, and the point behind it is not when you get the guy out of there, it's that you get him out of there, right? The ultimate way to win a fight is by knockout. So if he took his time, was the guy in control, and got the guy out of there, that's what counts. So to me, Anthony Joshua did the right things. I really couldn't care less what the commentators say. The other thing was you could see that Anthony Joshua was trying out now what he had practiced in the ring. It wasn't something new to him. So he was getting used to getting very comfortable boxing smart. Boxing the dude smart and ain't smoking him. And that's what he did. And I thought, he might have taken a little bit more time just to test it out and see how it really works and try different things. But ultimately, in the end, it was very, very smart boxing. How he mirrored Kuba Pulev, mirrored what he was doing. It's called mirroring, where you're doing the same thing the other guy is doing. And you're mesmerizing him into thinking that this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to throw, as well as you're occupying him. Sometimes he occupied the hand of Pulev. So he was doing different things in there, which obviously Brian Kenny's clueless too. Okay? Brian Kenny, who doesn't know anything about boxing, as Floyd Mayweather would say. And I even saw Sergio Mora a little bit, agree with Brian Kenny. And it's sad because, guys like Joe Goosen would put Brian Kenny in his place. What Anthony Joshua was doing, what they didn't understand was he was doing several different things with Kubrat Pulev to get control over Kubrat Pulev. He is also taking the reins away from Kubrat Pulev. But these guys can't see that. They can't understand that for every fighter, there's a different strategy or a different plan. Anthony Joshua wouldn't duke out with Kubrat Pulev at mid-range. That's stupid. Right? He steals shots from the outside coming in. He's not going to fight him at mid-range because that's where Kubrat Pulev is most effective. So why would I fight a guy at mid-range if he's effective at mid-range? Why would I let him trade with me? So they didn't understand that. So Anthony Joshua was using different clinch techniques and different strategies and techniques to get to fight and throw his punches inside of Kubrat Pulev's punches. And these are the things that, again, a lot of guys who don't know anything about boxing will not appreciate and think the guy is running or he's cautious, he's afraid or something like that. And they come up with these storylines that are just ridiculous. They had nothing to do with what Anthony Joshua was doing. And Anthony Joshua even described how he parries like Evander Holyfield, how he sets up punches like George Foreman. He actually spoke about these guys and what he was actually implementing in that ring. And for the life of me, these commentators, they're always in some storyline, some emotional storyline, because these guys are always emotional. There's always some stupid emotional storyline when they don't even understand what the boxer is doing. KP from Casey says Joshua's gotten better, but Fury is better than all of them skill-wise. Man, I'm gonna say this again to you, because I'm telling you, man, Anthony Joshua only has 25 fights. Tyson Fury has over 30 fights. And Anthony Joshua has been improving fight by fight. And the opponents he's been facing, he's been doing better and better with them. I must say this. Floyd Mayweather keeps on showing up wherever Anthony Joshua is. I'm going to tell you this. Note I said it. Remember I said this. If Floyd Mayweather has anything to do with Anthony Joshua, anything whatsoever to do with him and his training, which is probably what's happening in the background, because that jab to the pit by heavyweights don't do that. And that's a Floyd Mayweather move. And that I'm telling you, man, Floyd had something to do with that dude. Since that second Andy Ruiz fight. Okay? That's why he show up. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. All I need is a verification that Floyd has something to do with Anthony Joshua. I'm gonna tell you now, Anthony Joshua's gonna beat Tyson Fury. I'm not picking Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua if Floyd's behind him. I'm telling you now, Anthony Joshua will beat Tyson Fury. I don't care what nobody say. Okay? Because the stuff I told you, I said it before. I said the second fight when Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz, I said, man, he doing stuff like Mayweather in there. You know? The way how he getting out of those angles, how he pivoting away, making Ruiz go down the wrong line. I said, nah, this stuff is Mayweather like. I said somebody taking lessons out of Mayweather's book. I'm telling y'all, man. I know Tyson Fury's longer and taller and everything, but they're gonna have a game plan for that. They're gonna have a game plan for it. And I think Anthony Joshua, he has shown us things that defy logic. Like, he showed us that he could box and move. I heard Peter Fury said, Josh was a little stiff up top. Give him a little time. Give him a little time. He won't get that swivel down. Fury is a little bit more slicker, but telling you, man, you don't have to be the better boxer to win a fight. You just have to have the right game plan. And Fury is a very gifted boxer. But I'm not going back Fury if Floyd's behind Anthony Joshua. I'm telling y'all now. That guy is getting better and better. And I believe they're going to have one fight before the Fury fight. I think the Fury fight is going to happen in the summer. That means Anthony Joshua is going to have one more fight that he could have under his belt. And by that time, he's going to be a totally different creature. He's working his ass off, I can tell you that. And I believe that Anthony Joshua, if Mayweather has anything to do with Anthony Joshua in the background, he's going to beat Tyson Fury. I'm telling you that now. I believe it 100%. That's if he had something to do with Mayweather. Had something to do with Anthony. If Mayweather had nothing to do with him, which I highly doubt, but if Mayweather has nothing to do with Anthony Joshua, I'm telling you now, if I got to put out my money for that fight, I'm not saying he's ready for him right now. I'm not saying that. I won't say that. I know he's in the process of getting himself ready and getting himself able. But man, this dude, if I had to bet money, man, I put money down on him whenever he faces Tyson Fury, which looks like it'll be in the summer. I'm gonna pick him to win, and that sounds strange, but I'm telling you, man, his learning curve is steep. So that's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, people criticized him for, believe it or not, for his fight with Kubra Pulev. It's a good fight. It was a good fight. But like I kind of figured, and that's why my prediction was correct. I kind of figured that Kubra Pulev didn't really bring a whole lot to the table, because he fought, mostly from range. Obviously, Anthony Joshua will not be able to exactly fight from range against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury got a reach advantage. Not to say that he can't fight from range, but that's a dumb idea. He's going to have to now use his infighting skills, which he's pretty good at. He can fight on the inside pretty well. So he's going to have to get his slipping, his sliding, his bobbing, his weaving, his bait encounters on the outside. He's going to have to set that stuff up. So when Fury comes to him, he's got to give him virtual distance so Fury will fall short. And then from there, bait Fury in so he could counter him. I loved his little bait encounter too. He did a pull counter on Kubra Pulev. So you can see he's working on different things in his game. And I'm telling you, man, that dude, that dude, Shakur Stevenson, man, precise footwork. You saw how he was walking down a bigger, stronger opponent. And he was big and strong himself. He got a lot more power. He did a great job. He did a fantastic job. I just think that Devin Haney did as great a job, if not a greater job, against a much tougher opponent in Yorkis Gamboa. Might have been older, but much more experienced. And I'm just saying, a lot of people say, Shakur is the best out there. Devin Haney's is I think the best out there right now. I'm gonna be honest. Devin Haney, I think, is the best out there. I don't even think Javante's as good as Devin Haney. Javante's got some pop, but I don't think that will work on Devin. I don't think it works on Shakur. Them guys too defensively savvy. And the fact that Shakur was walking on that guy for the entire fight for 10 rounds, that says something. And Devin's only getting better. So we'll see. Shakur showing me a little something on the inside. You know how he's placing his punches on the inside. Good stuff by Shakur. But it's a toss up with these new breeds because it's like we got a lot of good guys coming up. So when they do finally all merge together and meet up somewhere, probably at welterweight or junior welterweight, wherever they meet up, it'll be spectacular. It'll be fireworks. And then Ryan Garcia is there. I mean, whoo, we got so much God gifted and skilled fighters coming up out of the blocks. It's gonna be something, man. It's gonna be something great. It's gonna be something great. So I'm looking forward. The future looks bright for boxing. Um, COVID-19. So as y'all know, they're advising people to take as much precautions as possible with this COVID-19 that's coming around. I suggest people do the same, especially abroad. Try to be as sensible as you can. But once again, I'm going to repeat the simple things you should have on hand to boost your immune system. And I'm going to show you one of those things. Some of you know it as a lime. This is a lime. Okay. Some of you have rough skin lemon. That's good. Use those things. Another thing that's really good. Donald Trump talks about it. Cucumbers. I'm gonna repeat myself. Ginger. Selenium. Black seed oil. Okay, I said too much. This brand is known as Puritan's Pride. I think you guys can find it anywhere. And get this. This is very good for you. This is for metabolizing proteins, coenzymes, cofactors, the whole 9 yards. Okay. You can also get your vitamins in fruits. Okay. You can get your minerals in vegetables. Use a lot of vegetables. Me, I also use turmeric. So turmeric, ginger, garlic, those are all good things. Okay. So my food, you see it's yellow, that's because of turmeric. I use a lot of protein. I really don't use as much carbs. I use a lot of protein. And so that's why I need the selenium. If you're using selenium, you can't just use selenium by itself. You have to use it with a lot of protein. So be careful. Otherwise, you poison yourself. You don't want to poison yourself. And the amounts of selenium you use every day, the average person uses less than 300 micrograms of selenium. You really need about 300 micrograms of selenium for normal daily living. If you're ill or sick with some sort of disease like cancer or diabetes or whatever, you need to use more selenium. So you need to use above 300 micrograms of selenium every day. Some people have died of heart attacks and stuff because they didn't have selenium in their body. It was selenium deficient. It's a very, very important trace mineral which is responsible for a lot of proper things functioning in your body. So that's basically it for me and hypocrisy in boxing. Oh, yeah, it's another thing I want to talk about. I just remember this one. So I've heard people say, I'm going to speak about this gentleman. You guys know who I'm talking about, but I'm still going to speak about him. I heard people say that Floyd Mayweather. He's a scourge on boxing, and in some boxing groups, you hear them say, he's a clown because he's facing all these clowns, and he's not an exciting fighter. Manny Pacquiao's an exciting fighter. Let me put to you guys this way, because I've been in a competition like that on Facebook, and this is what I call it: hypocrisy in boxing. Mayweather faced Conor McGregor, who is not a professional boxer, right? He faced him in 2017. And if we do not forget, that fight was never competitive. A lot of people in boxing knew that. The bookies knew that, right? The only people who did not believe, who believed it was competitive, probably were MMA fans, right? And Floyd Mayweather had 4.3 million pay-per-view buys with him facing Conor McGregor. If Floyd Mayweather is not an exciting fighter, why are people forking out so much money to buy it for pay-per-view? And the place was packed with celebrities and stars for a mismatch fight, which most people knew was a mismatch. So what did most people come to see? Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Now, I want to show you guys another point, because people say, oh, there's a lot of money that was made. Yeah, but the point is, this wasn't even, most people come to see Floyd Mayweather, they say lose, which is not true. There are people who come to see him lose, but there are also people who come to see him win. And Floyd Mayweather goes into facing Conor McGregor, who's not even a professional boxer. This is his very first fight. He's a debutant. He's not a professional boxer. And 4.3 million pay-per-view buys happened out of that. 4.3 million people bought pay-per-view to see that fight, which was a non-competitive fight. It turned out to be very exciting. Now, the question I have is, has Manny Pacquiao ever faced an opponent like a Conor McGregor, a debutant, someone who has not even fought and been able to generate that kind of money? In fact, I go as far as to say Manny Pacquiao facing Keith Thurman, which was a very exciting fight, okay, generated 1/8 of that money. Less than 1/8 of that money. It only generated 500,000 pay-per-views. 500,000 pay-per-view buys. So this talk about the interest, Pacquiao being the more interesting fighter or the more exciting fighter, then it would translate into buys. It would translate into attendance to his fights. Right? That's not happening. So I want to show you something, because people say Mayweather's boring. No, he's not boring. If he was boring, let's be honest here, if he was boring, there's nobody going to pay for a mismatch fight to see him. I think a lot of people are being hypocritical. And this is what I'm talking about, hypocrisy in boxing, where people are saying Floyd Mayweather's a chicken. Floyd Mayweather, he's not TBE. Floyd Mayweather, he's not exciting. He's boring to watch. Well, if he's boring to watch, why are people paying to see him fight somebody who's not even a boxer? Why in Japan, he goes and he faces a kickboxer, a guy much smaller than him, and all of Japan comes out to see it. It's Ryzen's biggest money maker. He blows the roof off of it and gets $9 million for less than a minute of fighting. Okay? People are fascinated with Floyd Mayweather. He is an interesting person. And on top of that, he's a very interesting fighter because he wins fights. Everybody loves winners. And on top of that, he's exciting to watch. It's a lie when people say he's not exciting to watch. Ain't nobody going to pay pay-per-view to see a boring fighter fight and be. He's not monotonous. He's not repetitious. He's tricky. He made defense a sexy thing. He moves so very interestingly in the ring. People pay to see this guy not only because of his reputation, but also because he's exciting. Let's not lie about it. His fights are exciting. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna make my point even more, because the people who are saying Mayweather's boring, he's not exciting, are people who don't like him, and so like the fox and the grapes, they're gonna badmouth him. But really and truly, there's no facts to support what they're saying. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. It's gonna be an exhibition fight, and we already know Logan Paul. Most people probably know Logan Paul's a YouTube fighter. He's not going to beat Floyd Mayweather. That's a given. So why would people pay to see that exhibition fight? Why would they pay to see it? If Floyd Mayweather is not exciting and he's not interesting, and he's not doing something interesting and exciting. So it's not true that he's not an exciting fighter, that he's boring, that his style is boring. If that was the case, nobody paid to see him. He's been retired now how long? From professional boxing. I'm gonna exclude Conor McGregor fight. From professional boxing in the professional circuit against pros, he's been out of boxing for 5 years now. And yet his name is still resonating with everyone. And you see haters keeping him alive because they are speaking hating things. People still trying to deny that he's the best ever. They're still trying to, like he has no claim to be the best ever. Oh no, he has no claim to be the best ever. And then they're making their own definitions. They're not going by the definition that he's talking about. They don't want to do that. Why? Because they're hypocrites. They feel a certain way about the guy, that he doesn't deserve to be there, but they have no facts to support their stuff. That's why I could go in a debate with anybody at any time, and I could prove my point. So I just wanted to talk about that, because to me, it's hypocritical when people are talking without any sort of evidence. They sound just like Donald Trump. They sound just like the people who support him. They're riling and raving and ranting, but they have no factual evidence. They just have emotions. And facts trump emotions. You can have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a butthole. But the opinions that should be valued and respected are those grounded in factual means that make logical sense. So all I got to say for now, guys. I'm out of here. What you need in the building. Peace.